Right. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to a very different live. So, guys, I am testing out some new kit. I'm trying to make the shows just a little bit better. The idea is that you guys will hopefully be able to see what I'm doing. We'll be able to interact more. You'll be able to hear me more as well, which is always a good thing. So let me just make sure that I've got my live up here because I want to be able to see all of your comments, of course, as always. So there I am, I'm the right way round. And now I can see who has joined us. So Colleen, thank you for joining us. Let me just turn that off. There we go. Right, okay. So please do let me know if we have any sound issues today. That was one of the issues that we had with playing around with this tech over the last few days. So we're just kind of trying to work out the bugs. Sarah says good morning, cooking along. That's good. Amandine, good morning. Justine, thank you for joining us. Laura, Bruna, and again Sarah. Okay, so Colleen said the sound is great. So there will be a few different views that we'll go through today. I've got a few cameras around so that we can have different angles, close-ups when we need them. Karen, thank you for joining us. Debbie says good morning from Toronto. Good morning. Well, it's good afternoon here now. But only just. So, as you guys know, today I will be making sorry, there we go. Not that thing, that's me. The other thing. That thing. Oh, we're making that today. Tempeh curry. See how much fun we can have with this. Martha says hello Martha, I love the green heart, thank you for joining us. Sue says hello to everybody and the sound is perfect, that's good. Paul, thank you for joining us. Ingrid, thank you for joining us and also being admin today. You're absolutely brilliant. And yes, so let me just show you what we have going on here because a lot of you guys have been with us for a long time now, maybe even from the start. So you'll know that this whole thing is a little bit different, but hopefully it's gonna really work for us. Okay, so we can go over here and we have this view as well. So this is the typical view that we would normally have, and you guys get to see not only kind of all of my ingredients out here, but all of my ingredients over there. I'm sorry, I'm having so much fun with this. Honestly, it's brilliant. Look, these are all of our ingredients here. I'm sorry, I shouldn't fight. I'm just such a child. I am just such a child. Anyway, so yes, we have this view, and this is the one where we had a bit of an issue with the sound. So if you guys could give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound well when we're in this view, and if there isn't an echo. So thumbs up, please, from you guys if you can hear the sound as I am now, and if it's okay. Because Debbie says you're like a weather person. Oh, who is that lady that I loved when I was a kid? She was on TVAM, and I wanted to be a weather woman. They were called weather girls back then. A weather woman just because of her. So, Amandine said, "Where's the rainbow?" Okay, I have to admit something. Forgot the rainbow today. I was so busy doing all of this that I completely forgot. So tomorrow, double rainbow. Promise. Okay, so I'm really sorry, Denise. I know you missed the rainbow, and I'm sure Colleen is mourning it as well. But we have this new fandangled setup to make up for it. I promise. Double rainbow on Saturday and on Sunday. There you go. I can't give you better than that. Not only have I doubled the rainbow action, but I've quadrupled it. Have I? Okay, right. So of course we have this view, but then we have this other view, and this is the view that I think is going to be really helpful for you guys because you're going to be able to see in close up what is going on in my pan, what is going on my chopping board, and really you guys like seeing a close-up of hands during some really important bits of the recipe is going to really help you to understand what should be happening and when. So of course we've done things like meringues before, and this view would be great for meringues because you'll really be able to see the mixture thickening and what it should look like. Similarly with things in a pan as well, it's very hard for you guys to see when things are, you know, seared enough, you know, so I might really struggle with actually telling you in words what something should look like here, but now you can actually see it. So right, onto today's recipe. So we've got our tempeh curry. I promise that eventually I will tire of being like a child with this, and then we'll get onto the serious business of actually learning about vegan food. How's that? Okay. Denise said this is such a transition overnight. It hasn't actually been overnight. I've been working on it for about the past 4 days, but to you guys, yes, it has all of a sudden appeared. So, you know, I think it seems to be working. It seems to be working now. And I can even let's see if we can do some magic here. Right, there we go. Let's see if we can get this up. There we go. There's your rainbow. Does that make up for it? Let's get rid of that. Okay. So yeah, I know a lot of you guys are saying that you're really loving it, so that's great. That's really, really great. Sue says, please don't. I assume that you mean don't stop being a child about it. Okay, I won't. In that case, I won't. Sawyer says, hi there. What a great name. What a great name, Sawyer. Welcome. And Colleen, yes, the wordy rainbow was so there we go. Okay, right, so on to today's recipe. We do have here's one I made earlier. So we will be making this lovely tempeh curry. I've also used butter beans, so you can use either, but the trick is that you need something that is quite meaty and has quite a good texture to it, and that is why I thought that butter beans and tempeh would be really, really perfect for this. And you guys have been asking me for tempeh and butter bean recipes, so it fits in very, very nicely with what you guys are after. And this is a dish that, and let me just change our view so that you guys can see it properly. This is a dish that I took from, so it isn't inspired by an Indian dish, but an Indian dish that is popular in Malaysia, so therefore it may have been changed from its original version. And it's very, very interesting when we look at things like curries in particular, that we can really see the ways that cultures have interacted with each other, and influence each other and influence each other's cooking. So it's really, really interesting. I find it really, really interesting that you can see those the things that have happened in our history just through food. So this is quite a dry curry. As you see, it's not very, very saucy. It is quite dry. So I wanted to show this to you guys. There we go. Let's see if we can get a really close up. There we go. Yeah, it is quite dry, but really, really flavoursome. So you don't miss the wetness. But of course, you know, this is something you can add to, you know, you can add a condiment such as dairy-free yogurt would be really, really lovely with it if you do like to have that wetness in your dishes. So with this, I've also made a pilaf. So I wanted to show you guys a pilaf, but using millet and buckwheat. You can use other grains if you want to. So quinoa would work really, really well. Most other grains, to be honest, would work very, very well. You could just use rice if you want, absolutely fine. But some people had said that they had both millet and buckwheat in their cupboards, so this is a really, really good thing to do it because it's really super tasty, So we're going to put spices into the pilaf as well. So I just want to point out a comment from Nick who said I'm looking gorgeous, so thank you for that. Thank you for coming along, babe. I haven't spoken to you in ages. Tanya, thanks for joining us. Amandine said it looks great day. I'll take the rainbow. Thank you for that. Lisa, love how the production is evolving. Thank you. Paul said, I take it software is doing the subtitling and not being typed out super fast. No, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I have to have a helping hand. Ankita, do you know which Indian dish is it inspired from? So I can have an idea of the taste. Okay, so this is actually, it was called, in the book that I got it from, a dry mutton curry. A dry mutton curry. And so I had to do a bit of investigating to know what mutton tasted like because I've never had it. So, but through my investigating, I decided that tempeh and butter beans would be a really, really good substitute for it. It's a really, really easy one again. There isn't a huge amount of ingredients. So let me put this to one side and we can get going. There we go. Okay. Right, just popping a lid on it at the moment because there you are. There you are. I was looking over here. You're there. Okay. Right. Okay. Chef Day, can you tell how excited I am for this? That's good. That's really, really good. Okay. So let's get started. Just a moment. Okay. Now we, as I said at the top of the show, we will be using a mixture of tempeh and butter beans for this. And you can use one or the other if you want to. That's absolutely fine. You can use all butter beans or you can use all tempeh, no problem at all. But also I want to pop a few of these in as well. So these are carlin peas that I have just recently sprouted. And they're lovely little tadpoles. Little tadpoles. So the carlin peas are from Hodmadods, grown in the UK. Really, really like these. Lara actually asked, I think Lara's here today. Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. Lara actually asked about things to make with carlin peas because she has some at home as well. So I decided to sprout them. They can take a little bit longer than some other sprouts can, but only like a day or two. And they sprouted really, really well. So we're going to pop some of those into the curry as well. And also I have made a tempeh out of these, which I really, really suggest that you do because it's a really interesting colour as well because we've got that the darkness of the carlin peas. So we'll pop some of those in as well. So we'll just start by preparing our tempeh. So we just want to cut it into chunks. We want that kind of like chunky, meaty texture. So we don't want this into small pieces at all. In fact, actually, what I did with my other one, yes, sorry, I was just checking what I did with it, but I decided to just pull it apart by hand. And the reason why, and I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, is that, you know, with things like tofu and tempeh, we end up cutting them into cubes. And even if you're used to like tofu and tempeh being cut like that, I don't know, I don't necessarily like those squares in food. I know that they're like a natural product. I know that they are a natural product in my logical brain. But for some reason, you know, my other illogical brain, which occupies a lot of my head, says, oh, it's, you know, something that isn't that natural. So, you know, I prefer these shapes really than cubes. Okay, we have a couple of comments here. Oh, Mick said he likes Ali Parantha for breakfast. Nice, nice. Sarah said, did you soak your buckwheat or millet? I did, but wasn't sure if I had to. Also, no, you don't have to. You don't have to. And Sarah said, also, I don't have cardamom pods, any replacement. So any kind of, you know, quite strong tasting, like whole spice like that would be really, really good to add to it. But I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to. There's a lot of other flavours going on in there anyway. But you know, if there are things that you've got, then feel free to chuck them in. This is a real like with the pilaf. Definitely, it's a choose your own adventure thing. Definitely, you know, we have a lot of those. We have a lot of those on the show. Okay, so we've prepped our tempeh, and let me just show you guys through the magic of television how this appears, because now you have a better view of it. And now we can go over to our pan and we can start toasting our cumin seeds. So you don't have to toast your cumin seeds if you don't have the right equipment for it. So it's 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. There we go. And so we toast them until we can start smelling them. This is on, you'll see that this is on a 3, but for those of you guys who join me often, you will know that this is a demon, and 3 is probably way high enough. So that's absolutely fine. So whilst that is doing its thing, we will come over here and then we can talk through all of the different ingredients. All of these ingredients here. So we've got our tempeh or butter beans. As I said, you can swap them out. We've got 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, but you can use ground if you want to. That's absolutely fine. And then we have some chili powder, so around half a tablespoon of chili powder. Actually, let me just make sure I've got my measuring implements. Oh, that's getting to my throat already. Half a tablespoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, and then you'll need a little bit of water just to make this into a spice paste. You'll need some thin coconut milk. So a couple of days ago, I showed you guys how to make a really lovely creamy coconut chickpea curry. And with that curry, we actually just used the really creamy stuff from the top of the can. Okay, so I put that into the fridge the night before, and then the next day it separated, and I just scooped out all of that, and that was enough for that dish. And then, handily, we get this light coconut milk, which is what you really want for this dish. And we had that left over, and we need half a cup for this recipe, and it's half a cup. Love it when that happens. Absolutely love it. It's the little things. And then we need some salt and some black pepper. And then so that's it. That's it. It's really, really not many ingredients at all. These, I can already smell them, by the way. I can already smell them. So they're nearly done. And then for our pilaf, we've got 100 grams of millet. So that is this here. So it's a very, very fine grain, like little kind of pearls, almost like, you know, like the small tapioca that you get. And then we have our buckwheat. So our buckwheat is a bit bigger, and so I like these as a combination together. I find the millet on its own, like it just kind of like clumps together a bit too much, whereas if you have the buckwheat in with it, it encourages it to break apart a bit more and not clump together. So you know what it's like when you overcook rice and it clumps together. Or you know when you perfectly cook rice and you know it's grainy and they're all kind of individual grains, they're not sticky. That's the difference. And then we'll use a little bit of oil. I'm using coconut oil today, but you can use whichever oil you want to. And we've got some cinnamon sticks here, some green cardamoms, but you can use black cardamoms as well. I've tried black cardamoms and that works very, very well. We've got 3 tiny onions. You should use like half an onion, but I didn't have a big onion today. I wanted to use up these things. Stop beeping at me. Okay. And then we have some ginger and 70 grams or thereabouts of chickpeas or peas. I'm using chickpeas today because that's what I had that needed using up basically, and some salt. Okay. Right. Khan says, Chef Day, would you recommend I make this on the occasion of Eid? Well, I'm not really sure because I don't really know what you usually make for it. So maybe you could let us know. Like, what is there like a specific type of thing that you make, or? So it'd be really, really interesting to find out. So I'll just pop the cumin seeds into my pestle and mortar, and I will grind them until they're very, 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 very fine. If you don't want to do that, then just use pre-ground cumin and don't do the toasting. Okay, right. Okay, now we will be frying the tempeh. Yes, that's the next thing. That's the next thing. So adding a little bit of oil to the pan, which is still hot. There we go. Right. Come on. Okay, it's saying something to me. It's saying E1 to me. I don't know what that means. Right, let's start again. Maybe it's overheated. Maybe there's a problem with this and it's just like way too hot. Right. Right, there we go. Okay, right, now we're rocking and rolling. Just add a bit of oil to this. And we'll fry the tempeh a bit. So I'm going to fry the tempeh, but not the butter beans. And the reason why is, and we talked about this when I made the chickpea croutons, which can also work as chickpea pops as a snack, and they're absolutely beautiful. I did mention that with beans and yeah, like chickpeas, that type of thing, if you cook them at too high a heat, they can pop, they can explode, which is kind of fun until you realise you have to clean it all up, and then it's not fun at all. Doug said, I don't keep leaving, I just lose the link when I try to view the ingredient list behind the light box. Oh no! Khan said, Eid is the annual holiday after the month of Ramadan when Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. We break our fast through a late evening meal known as iftar. Ah, thank you for letting us know that. Sarah said, I'm not using tempeh, so I skipped this step. Yes, absolutely, you can just skip this step. That's absolutely fine. I just want the tempeh to be a little bit crisper, if we can get it to that. But with the beans, we don't want to fry the beans at all. So we're just going to use a little pan for this for today. Okay, now I do have spoon at the ready, just in case the smoke alarm goes off. Okay, right, so whilst that is cooking, I will grind my cumin seeds. So if you haven't toasted them enough, they can be much more difficult to grind. So you do need to make sure that they are well toasted. Use a spice grinder if you've got one. And I am really trying to grind it very, 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 very well. I want it to be as powdery as possible because with this dish it's all about the spices clinging to the tempeh and the butter beans. Okay, so let's go over here and then there we go. You can see that it is fairly very, very well browned. There we go. And then we've got our tempeh down here, which we are just browning a little bit. There we go. Oh, whoopsie. There you go. So you can actually see that there's a bit of colour on this. There we go. Because with this dish, I do want these ingredients to be a bit more kind of chewy. So I'm trying my best to, you know, do the things that I know how to do to make tempeh more chewy, basically. But I think it looks nicer now that we've got these, you know, irregular shapes rather than squares of tempeh. I really do prefer that quite a lot. Okay, so I think that this is cooked enough. So now we need to mix our spice paste. So we have our toasted and ground cumin here. Let me just turn that down. Pop that into a bowl. And then our next ingredient is our half a tablespoon of chili powder. There we go. We've got a half tablespoon here. Of course, feel free to reduce the amount of that if you want to. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't like things too spicy, then it's better for you to add less and it not be spicy enough for you, rather than it being so spicy that you can't eat it. And then we have half a tablespoon of ground coriander. There we go. And half a teaspoon of ground turmeric. There we go. Okay, and then give that a mix. Add about 3 tablespoons of water. And then we've got this lovely paste. Just give that a mix round. And then we can add this. And add our butter beans. Let's just add a little bit more water. So I think this hob is really on the hot side. It's so hot that actually the lowest temperature that I'm on, you know, it's a 1 at the moment, and it's still really on the hot side. So that's one thing to watch out for, because if you guys, you know, now that you've got this overhead view, this is great. But if you're trying to use this as a guide, just remember that this is very hot. So even though you might be putting yours on 1, my 1 is like your 3, if that makes sense. Okay, Sue says, can see why the smoke alarm might go off. Yes, it hasn't yet. It hasn't yet, so fingers crossed. There we go, fingers crossed. Paul said, great view, good. Jen said, totally agree about the tempeh and tofu too, shape not being perfect. Yes, so we have just torn the tempeh apart rather than cut it into cubes. Okay, so I'm just making sure that all of this is really mixed in very well. Sue said, this is just brilliant, thank you for all this. Oh, no problem at all. Paul is appreciating the good view from above, and the subtitling seems to be in a good location. Yes, the thing is, like, I can change where this goes. I'm trying to point there where that goes. I can move that around, so yeah. And Amandine says that she loves sprouted lentils. Good. And Anna joined us. Okay, so I'm mixing this in to make sure that all of those things are covered. So whether you're using the beans or the tempeh or both together, just making sure they are absolutely covered. And then we need to add our thin coconut milk. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to add the coconut milk, and then just really reduce it onto a low simmer. So once we've done this, I'm going to actually move this over to my other hob, and then we can get on with the pilaf. But I think that with this hob, it doesn't go low enough for it to be as low a simmer as I want it to be anyway. So let's just add this light coconut milk. And so this will just, you know, be another level of flavour, and it will reduce until it is as dry as it was just a moment ago before we added the coconut milk. And I wanted to show this to you guys because I think quite often in the West we think of curries in a certain way, but oh my gosh, I mean, there are like so many different curries. Okay, so just adding some salt and good ground of black pepper there, and now we'll move this over to the other hob and we'll get our pilaf started. Okay, so I'll just pop that on there. And I'm going to just put it on 1. That's what I'm going to put it on. Yeah, that'll do. That'll absolutely do. Because we do want it to just simmer at a really low heat. Shh. Anyway, right, onto the pilaf. Harry, hello. And Anna says hello and looks fab. Good. I'm really glad that all of you guys are enjoying our new setup. Okay, so onto the pilaf. So now we are making a millet and buckwheat pilaf. But you guys can use whatever grains you have in the cupboard. So quinoa would work really well with this. Barley as well. Different types of rice too. So if you haven't explored things like red rice and black rice, I really urge you to. I gave Jeff a black rice for the first time the other night and he was absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. I mean, it's a beautiful colour anyway. It's like a really deep purple, really deep purple, but also the flavour. The flavour is absolutely amazing. So you could bring different rices into this, or you could do a combination of quinoa and rice or something like that and just like make it a bit more interesting, because I think, you know, you can have a curry or any dish actually that goes with rice and then just like a pile of boring rice and then it's boring. Okay, so onto our recipe, and first of all I am going to just grab my pan. Now I'm using this pan with you guys today just so that you can see. So you can just use a saucepan, no problem at all. But I wanted to use this nice wide frying pan just so that the view's a bit better for you guys and you can see what's going on. But you could use either or, doesn't really matter. So our chosen grains are millet and buckwheat. So we've got 100 grams of millet, 50 grams of buckwheat. Doesn't really matter how much of each you put in. You know, you can really like play around with that ratio. Doesn't matter. You know, it's a choose your own adventure recipe. Sarah says, I love black rice now. That's great. I hope, was it us that, or was it me that introduced you to it? Paul said easy to share. Oh, thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you do want to share this this live as it's actually going on and invite your friends, then you can do so very easily. Okay, so yes, we've got our grains here, our millet and our buckwheat. Buckwheat is a complete protein, so it's a great thing to have if that is a concern of yours. And then we have we've got our cinnamon sticks here, our cardamoms, our cloves, and our onion and our ginger. Now normally, I'm telling you one of my secrets here, normally I take the outer leaves off onions before I get going with a live because they're a real pain to take off when you're also trying to talk to people and some of them can be really difficult. So I normally do this before the show, but as you can tell, with my failing to put a rainbow up today, I forgot to do a few things, so I also forgot to do this. So you guys will have to talk to me while I'm doing this. You'll have to keep me entertained. Keep me entertained. Come on, tell me something. Tell me. What is your favourite vegan food? There we go. Favourite vegan food, or even favourite vegan ingredient. There you go. You can do either then. Sarah said, yes, I knew about it, but hadn't tried it. Okay, so that's about the black rice. So maybe that's Sarah's favourite ingredient. Denise said, great, thank you, Paul. Oh, yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing the live as it's going on. Sarah said, would caraway seeds or something like that work instead of cardamom, and if so, how much? Yeah, I love caraway seeds. Got loads, absolutely loads of caraway in the cupboard. I just recently made a new batch of red sauerkraut and put caraway seeds in it, and it's absolutely lovely. Really good combination. So yes, use them. Maybe use like half a teaspoon, Sarah. I don't think you don't want to overpower it. You don't want to only be able to taste the caraway. So let me see if you guys have given me some answers. There we go. Doug said red lentil sauce. Oh, lovely. It sounds like you might have a recipe for that. So, you know, do share it on the group. That would be great. Colleen said tofu because it's so versatile. Yes, it is. It really is. It gets a really bad rap. Denise, also tofu and chickpeas, again, because of their versatility. Yep, both brilliant. And Sarah says, yes, black rose favourite ingredient. Karen said, making your own kombucha. Oh, that's great. That's really, really great. I don't know if you've experimented with adding spices to it, but I've been doing that recently. You guys know how much I love getting spices into my diet as much as possible. And recently I made some kombucha, mixed it with some pineapple juice, and put some star anise, some whole star anise in it, and just left it for a couple of days. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Mark, thank you for joining us. Favorite vegan food, oven roasted vegetables. Oh, nice one. Nice. Jen, lentil soup is my ultimate comfort food. Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Something like that that is like wet and warm when you're just like having a really rubbish day. And yeah, it's just so comforting, isn't it? Really, really lovely. Mark said favourite ingredient, beans. Beans are great, and in fact, next week we're probably going to do quite a few bean recipes because the cupboards are looking a bit bare at the moment, and I'm really trying to minimise the amount of times that we're getting in food deliveries. So we may have bean week next week. Okay, so our onions are ready. You guys can just use half an onion. I had these little ones that I really needed to use up, so I'm going to use them. So you don't have to look for like shallots or anything like that. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you do that. Okay, so we just need to chop these into slices. There we go. And as finely as you can. There we go, just being really, really careful because I like my fingers. I like my fingers complete. And actually, let's go to this view. There we go. And then you can actually see what I'm chopping. So just get rid of that. And these aren't rolling around too much, so I'm quite happy to slice them this way. But if you've got a big onion and it's really, really rolling around, then do feel free to cut it in half, and then you've got the flat. So I always go on to you guys about find the flat, and then it makes it a lot safer when you're cutting something. So now we have the flat, you are much less likely to do yourself an injury. Okay, and we're just slicing these to go into our peeler. Right. Okay, and then we have our ginger here as well. And you guys may have seen that the other day I was super, super, super lazy with my ginger. So rather than scraping all the sides off, I just kind of like loosely take the skin off with the knife. Any of the like really gnarly bits, I definitely take off. And that's kind of it, really. And then actually I'm going to be grating this. So, and I don't mind if there are these like little tiny bits at all. That's absolutely fine to me because this is organic. So the skin won't have pesticides on it. So I'm just using my mandolin, sorry, not my mandolin, my microplane. There we go. So if you don't have a microplane, you can just use a fine grater, or you can finely chop it and put it into a pestle and mortar if you want to, but we do want it to be fairly fine. Okay, Harry says he makes Chinese lemon tofu. Well, that sounds good. That sounds really, really good. Okay, so you'll see that this has really grated it very, very finely. That's what we're looking for. I'm just going to pop this to one side and just see if we have any more comments. So Sarah said about sauerkraut, I made my first lot based on your recipe but changed a few ingredients and it's been 9 days and it barely tastes more than cabbage. Okay, so let's just come back to this view whilst I talk to you guys. So with sauerkraut, really, I think with any ferment, it's all about the heat. It is all about the heat. So you have to make sure that it is somewhere that is warm. Definitely somewhere that is warm. Okay, we've also got a few comments here. Oh gosh. Valentina said Thai green curry. That's a great one. Did you see Katie's show yesterday where she showed you how to make a tofu Thai green curry? If not, it would be great to see if we can get the link to that for you, but you might have already seen it, so let us know. Paul says, especially now, subtitling facilitates those overseas who have some understanding of English. Yes, we can see if we can. Oh yes, of course, we do have subtitling, which is great, but it isn't always that accurate, because I can see that with what I was just saying, it actually wrote out tiger curry rather than Thai green curry. I wonder if it will do it again. Thai green curry, Thai green curry, Thai green curry. Ankita says our favourite food is vegetable biryani, lovely, and vegetable momos, which are Tibetan dumplings. Oh, I'll have to look those up. Butter masala gravy with anything. Karen said no, it's all a bit weird at the moment, just getting my head around having a SCOBY. Yes, the SCOBY baby. Yeah, they are a bit of a weird thing. Okay. Right, okay, Valentina said that, yes, you did actually see Katie's show. Good. That's great. Okay, right. Now, back to this view. And so we will start by heating a little bit of oil. And again, I'm going to be using my coconut oil here, but you can use any neutral tasting oil. The flavour of the coconut oil will go really well with this. So there you go. You guys can actually see for once how much oil I'm adding, or not adding actually. I do try to limit the amount of oil that I have. Okay, so give that a little time just to warm up, and we will prepare what will go into there. So we've got our cinnamon sticks here. My cinnamon sticks are all a little bit broken. I've got to the end of my packet. So I'm going to put in this, and this. And I'll remember that there are 3 pieces in it. So at the end, there are 3 pieces that I need to fish out. You don't have to fish them out, but if you're worried about people chomping down on them, then, you know, it's a good thing to do. And then we have our cardamom. So we've got some green cardamom here, but you can use black, which is also very lovely. And then a couple of cloves. There we go. You can also use clove powder, ground cloves, if you need to. Okay, and then, so we've got our onion here, finely sliced. We will need that as well. And then we've got our ginger, which is just on the back of our microplane here. Bring these ingredients over. So we're all ready. We've got everything set up. We're not going to have to rush around now. It's going to be a pretty chilled affair. And now this has heated up. I can feel it. So I put my hand there and it feels like a scorching hot summer's day. So that's what it should feel like against that palm of your hand. And then we'll pop our whole spices in there and just let that fry for a few minutes. There we go. And once that has started smelling, we will add our onions and our ginger. So as you see, actually, there's not been any garlic in this at all. Doug said, I recommend cloves. I got burned yesterday. Oh, what? Outside? Yeah. We've had some really scorching temperatures here in the UK. Which, if any of you guys who are abroad, if you know the UK, it doesn't happen that often. Okay, so as you'll see, I am putting the spices around the edge. And the reason why is because this pan actually bows in the centre. So all of the oil runs to this outside bit, which isn't ideal, and I'm not overly impressed with it, but you know, there you go, you've got to make the best of what you've got. Okay, so now this has started smoking. I can smell the cinnamon, so I will add my ginger. And our onion. There we go. If the pan dries out, you can add just a little bit of water. Woo! Ha-ha! Sorry, so all the smoke is just going right towards you guys. Right towards you guys. That's pretty cool, actually. I quite like that. Okay, let's see if we can do that once again. Wow! Love it, love it, love it. Okay, well that's my new favourite toy. Expect me to do this quite often. That was fun. That was really fun. Okay. Just really trying to get that ginger that's sticking to the middle of the pan off. So this is a really good way just to minimise the amount of oil that you're using in your food, just adding splashes of water. So these onions are still cooking down, but we're not making it too oily. There we go. Okay. And I can see that the onions are becoming translucent. And that's all I really want, actually. I don't really want to char them or anything like that. That's absolutely fine. So now we can add our chickpeas or peas. We can add our grains, and we're going to add some water. So just before I actually put these grains in, I'm going to get some water at the ready. So we will need around 2 cups of water. Yeah, that's 1 cup. A millet and our buckwheat. And another cup of water. So you may feel that this is an awful lot of water to the grain, but the water will evaporate. It really, really will evaporate. So we'll add a good pinch of salt in there. And then we will bring it up to a boil. And I bet this will go really, really quickly. My demon hob will probably get to temperature within seconds, I would imagine. There we go. So it's already like bubbling away. So you want to bring it up to boiling and then reduce it to a simmer. There we go. And cook this for around 30 minutes. And it's great if you've got something like this, just to make sure that the bottom doesn't stick, basically. And so we've got a couple of questions here. Denise said, can we substitute vegetable broth for water? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, that's a really, really good idea. More flavour. You know, if you've got stock, if you've got like leftover veggies that you've made into a stock, that type of thing, then that would go really, really well in here. I mean, there is already a lot of flavour in it, but you know, flavour from stock is always a good thing. Always, always, always a good thing. Denise, oh sorry, yes, I've already answered you, Denise. Sawyer said that's a really hot pan. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you love chickpeas. That's good, 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 good. Okay. Colleen said cardamom facial. Okay. Okay, right. Okay, so guys, we will leave this to simmer until all of that water is gone. And what I do like to do at the end is to pop a lid onto it. So this is something from how I was taught how to make the perfect rice. Once the water has almost evaporated, to pop a lid on it and then essentially let that steam. Okay, so guys, I will let that do its thing. I will let this reduce. Let me show you guys how this is doing now. So this has already started thickening and reducing, but those spices are really clinging to the tempeh, which is lovely. We want all of those lovely spices to cling to the tempeh and to the beans until eventually what we will get is this lovely thing. So as you'll see, you know, we've got loads of like colour on here, and that's because of all the spices that are clinging to it. The beans have gone a really lovely reddish colour as well from the chili. The pilaf isn't too interesting. You know, the colour is fairly beige, which isn't the nicest colour, but you can run some green herbs through it if you want to. I actually added some black mint and also some nasturtium leaves to mine the other day when I made this. So you can do that just to kind of brighten it up, but you can also just serve it like this with the curry on top of the pilaf. Okay guys, so just to recap, there are all of our ingredients. If you missed any of them, there you go. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. It has been an absolute pleasure, and it's been a lot of fun. I was a bit worried about all of this new gadgetry that we're using today, but it seems to have worked, and so thank you for your feedback, and thank you for your patience as well. So guys, please do let me know if you've got any more questions about this recipe or any other recipe or anything about vegan food. You know, just let me know. We are here to help you. So of course tomorrow we have another curry recipe with the lovely Nikki. Nikki is qualified in nutrition, so do come with your nutrition questions. She will do her best to answer them, and quite often as vegans we have these burning questions about nutrition that we've always wanted to ask somebody, but we've never had the opportunity. But we give you we give you the opportunity. So, and also Nikki will show you how to make a really, really delicious recipe. So another curry recipe. Colleen said, oh, that she's loving the online courses. That's wonderful. That's really, really good to know. Sarah said, how long do you leave both of them now to simmer? Okay, so with the pilaf, I'll cook this out for about half an hour. And with the tempeh or butter beans, I think you're doing butter beans actually, or beans, leave that to simmer on a really low heat for around 45 minutes. So the timing of this is pretty good, and this is why I made the curry first and then I make the pilaf, because then they should be ready at around the same time. Yeah? Good. Let me know how you get on, Sarah. It'll be really lovely to see what you've made. I must admit, it isn't the most beautiful of dishes, but it is really, really tasty. So, Sawyer said, thank you for sharing cooking moments. Oh, I really, really like the way you put it. Denise says, thank you. Valentina, thank you. Ankita, I'm making your fudge cake again today. It's too good. It is too good. We've had people on the group making the fudge cake just because it was Thursday. It's like a Thursday cake. Why not? Why not go out there and make a cake? Because is it actually Thursday? No, it's Wednesday. Well, Wednesday will do. So no, it is Thursday. Oh my god. Are you guys doing that as well? I'm not the only one, am I? I have no idea what day it is most of the time at the moment. Sarah said, my beans are already getting quite dry. It's on 1. Should I add more water? Yes, absolutely. If it dries out too much, just add water. Let it simmer, because you want all those flavours to mingle. So we do want it to cook out for enough time. So yeah, do add more water if it dries out. Sarah said, and could you show your pans one last time? Of course I can. Right, there we go. Bringing it over. Karen says that she's on her 4th veg cake. And Paul has confirmed for me that it is Thursday. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Yeah, I'm never very sure at the moment. Okay, right, there we go. And here are our pans. Okay, I am going to need to add more water to this because it's drying out a lot already. And this is just because this hob is exceptionally high, and this is the butter bean and the tempeh. Okay, so with the butter bean and the tempeh, Sarah, you need to make sure that you have added that half a cup of thin coconut milk. So just make sure that you have definitely done that, and then it should be. I mean, mine is fairly saucy at the moment, so I just want to double check with you, Sarah, that you did add that coconut milk. But yeah, if your pan does dry out, you can just add a bit of water. But we do want it to cook out for around 40 minutes because all of those spices that are in there, we really want them to mingle and develop and then, you know, that type of thing. So let's just pop this back on the hob over here. Lisa said, you have so much food from your lessons. Is someone helping you eat it? Well, funny you should say that, but yes, I've got a Jeff. So yeah, so he helps me eat it. And Doug said every day is chef day. Thank you. Paul says, unfortunately, I'm not feeding you guys. No, unfortunately, I'm not. Maybe one day, that would be lovely. Sarah said, I added even a little bit more than half a cup to finish the coconut from the other curry. Okay, right, okay. Yeah, so Sarah, just make sure that it is on a really, really low heat and add more water. So maybe just have some water nearby and keep topping it up as and when you need to. Hello, Jeff. Jeff just joined. I think he probably felt his ears burning. So thank you for joining me today, and thank you for enjoying this lovely wizardry that we've got going on here. It seems to have worked out really, really well, so I'm really pleased with that, and I hope that it's actually added to your experience and you're able to really, really see what I'm doing so that you guys can recreate these recipes at home. Thank you for your time. Do join us again tomorrow. It will be Nikki's show where she'll be making another curry, and then Saturday and Sunday you've got me again, double day, and double rainbows, quadruple rainbows. Actually, wasn't that what I promised? So that was what I promised. So we'll have epic rainbow spotting this weekend. Yeah, thank you for your time and have a lovely day.